Hey everybody, this is Kevin with Imagination Hobbies, coming at you with something slightly different here. I was going to go over my ancient coin collection, and I was just going to tell you a little bit about it, and a little bit of the history that I found out about the coins. It's not a huge collection. I think it's only seven coins we're going to go over, but it's something that I wanted to do, and my last kind of coin came in before I wanted to make the video, so I figured I would get on that and show you guys everything. So I'm just gonna go in order of age. I just have a Alexander coin up here just to start the video off, but my oldest coin is actually not that Alexander coin. It's probably this coin. This coin is very small, as you can see. If I try to get something for reference, here's a ballpoint pen. You can see it's almost the size of the metal part of the ballpoint pen. And this coin weighs 0.15 grams. This coin is from the 5th century BC. It's considered 1/48th of a stater. Stater or tetratomorian, but stater's basically the standard dollar, I guess you'd say, at the time. And so this is from Korea, Malassa, I believe is how you pronounce that. It depicts a bird with 2 pellets on this side, and the other side, I don't know what it is. It just looks like a line. It could be a bird or a fish. It's probably a fish. The other side's pretty uneventful, so I just have it in this coin case thing, and it's so small that I can't even display it in a way where you can see both sides. Otherwise, it'll rattle around in the case. But I guess I can just set that down there. It's not really the best. Let's put this pen into use. Yeah, so like I said, this coin is like 2,500 years old basically, or a little bit less than that, which is kind of crazy to think about, but it's really neat. I'm gonna see if at the end of the video I can give you guys a close-up of the coins, maybe without the cases on them. Let's just show you them a little bit more. They're some of them are pretty small though, so it'd be kind of pretty hard to do. But so that one is, up to 500 BC. And so kind of a similar area, we have our second coin. This is one of my favorites. It's an expensive little coin. Oh, let me wipe off the case. It doesn't have any fingerprints on it, but it's an expensive little coin, and it's got a very interesting image on it, and this kind of captivated me. And so this is from Korea as well. This is from Halicarnassus. These are like along the coast. These are all considered Greek coins. For the well, alright, let's go with 5 of these are Greek coins, pretty much. But really, you're talking about ancient Greece and that whole area, the Mediterranean area. So this isn't from the actual island of Greece or whatever. It's across the Aegean Sea along the coast, more towards the southeast edge of that coast. And this is from Halicarnassus, and this one might be older than the last one. There's no real way to tell exactly, but these two are the oldest ones I had, so I started off with them. This one could be from 510 to 480 BC. These first two coins I'm showing you are some of the oldest coins ever struck or ever minted, like known to history. And these types are, very old. That first one is probably about 5 millimeters. This one is about 11 millimeters, but it's very thick. You can tell how thick it is because if you look at the other side, it has something called a incuse punch. And very early on, they started putting these imprinted incuse punches in the back to try to show you that it was silver all the way through, but also create some type of design. It also helped press the image better on the coin on this obverse side. And so this is a sea monster, effectively. This is like a god. His name is Ketos. So the description is, this is Ketos facing right with pointed ear, pinnate mane, a long snout, and a mouth open with a protruding tongue. And on this opposite side, it is 4 lattice concave sides with a segmented border, central starburst in a square incuse. And this little coin here, it's kind of scarcely seen on the market because it's a newer discovery. They found like a small hoard of these things. They were actually found when they were first recovered. They were recovered in they had an extreme lead patina on them that had to be cleaned off, and this one was very nicely cleaned. So most likely, like the occasion for them to produce this coin with Ketos on it, it's called a hectae or a hectae. The reason that they probably minted these was during the Ionian Revolt in 499 to 494 BC. It says in Herodotus' account, the Koreans joined the revolt shortly after it broke out in 499 BC. The Persians sent an army south under Drusus to crush them, and that makes these little hunks of metal war coinage by the Greeks to resist and fight against Persia. So this was to pay soldiers to fight in that battle, is what they believe. And I'll try to take these out at the end and show you them a little bit better. But I want to tell you a little bit more about this little sea monster because I thought it was really cool and like very, I don't know, just mythological that they actually put a sea monster on a coin that long ago. So apparently it was done. Or this sea monster is basically in the lore or the created by a god. It says Queen Cassiopeia boasted that she had her daughter Andromeda, and that they were more beautiful than Nereides, which is like the Roman Nereides, is what they adopted as a god. But this invoked the wrath of Poseidon, who sent the sea monster Ketos to attack Ethiopia. So basically, upon consulting a wise oracle, King Cephas and Queen Cassiopeia were told to sacrifice Andromeda to Cetos. Or Cetus or Cetos, that's this monster here. They had Andromeda chained to a rock near the ocean so that Cetos could devour her. After finding Andromeda chained to a rock and learned of her plight, Perseus managed to slay Cetos. So I'm sure you've heard of Perseus. It's like a god or sub-god. And Perseus killed this creature to save Andromeda. So in one version, he killed this creature with a sword. In another version, he used Medusa's head to turn the sea monster to stone. And Cetos is used to describe a lot of anything that is a sea monster. So it doesn't necessarily have to look like this creature. There's been a lot of accounts of like all different kinds of looking sea monsters, and they've always been referred to as Cetus or Cetos. It's a Latinized spelling, derives from the word Cetos, meaning third declension, whale, sea monster. And in astronomy, there is a constellation for this monster called Cetus, or Cetos, however you pronounce that. So I thought this was super interesting, and I figured I'd show you guys, and I found it very kind of captivating to have not only animals but monsters on coinage. I find that a lot more interesting than just some old politician's head. But I do have a couple of those too. So I guess we can move on to the next one. These are both the same coin, probably from the same date range. I'll just show them to you together. They're both about, that hectare I just showed you with Cetos on it. It's 1.69 grams. And it's 11 millimeters, like I said. And then these are very similar coins. They're probably from the same time. And what they depict is a lion on one side and a boar on the other. Now this boar isn't by himself. He's actually half of a boar. I guess I gotta show you these one at a time. He's half of a boar, and then there's like a tunny tuna or some type of fish to the right of him. Now these are quite old as well. Try to show you the back again. I'm glad I have them in these little coin capsules, to be honest, because these are so small. It's so hard to actually hold them. But here's the lions. And here's the boars. And so I'll just hold one here for reference. So there's a boar, a wild boar to the left. Then there's a line of beads. And then there's an upright tunny or tuna fish. Both these coins were graded at very fine. The last one I showed you, the hectare with Cetos on it, that was graded as XF, which I think is extremely fine. There's all these different grading terms that all sound all well and good. they all sound like they're amazing. Very fine, extremely fine, choice fine. Really, I think this was probably cleaned. I mean, all ancient coins have been cleaned. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to see them. But this one probably had a darker patina on it, a blackened patina, and was probably cleaned kind of harshly. This wasn't a professional grading service that called this very fine plus. But I do have a couple tags here from a couple coins that were professionally graded before I opened their cases, because I'd prefer to be able to hold the coins and just look at them in person. But I'll tell you a little bit about this coin, these two coins. They range from about 480 to 400 BC, considered Greek coins from Mysia, Kazikos. Again, more of that Mediterranean area. It's actually on a coast, pretty north, northeast from Greece. I believe it's across the Aegean Sea, or whatever you call it. But Kazikis was, or Kazikis, or however you want to pronounce it, was an ancient Greek town in Mysia in Anatolia. It's currently Balıkesir province of Turkey. It was located on the shoreward side of the present Kapıdağ Peninsula. So if you guys find that on a map, you know exactly where I'm talking about. The city was said to have been founded by the Phaeacians from Thessaly, according to the tradition, at the coming of the Argonauts. Later, it received many colonies from Miletus back in 756 BC. But the importance of this area began near the end of the Peloponnesian War. And the conflict centered around the sea routes connecting Greece into the Black Sea. And at this time, the cities of Athens and Miletus were diminished in importance, while this area where this coin was, Cyzicus, began to prosper. Commander of the Athenian fleet, Alcibiades, defeated the Spartan fleet in a major naval engagement near Cyzicus, known as the Battle of Cyzicus in 410 BC. So that took place after this coin was minted. But yeah, just really interesting. I guess that's these two coins I just showed you. They are, in my opinion, they're marked as diobles. That they don't have enough weight from what I've researched to be a diobal. There seems to be certain situations where there's different denominations that aren't fully hashed out or discovered, really. Like, I don't know what a hecta is from that sea monster coin. I don't know what the lineage of what monetary system they were using. But in my opinion, in my opinion, I'm thinking that this is actually a tri-hemi-obol. Hemi-obol meaning half of an obol. An obol was a standard coin or standard measurement. So I believe this is a tri-hemi-obol, meaning 3 halves of an obol. So 1.5 obols. I don't think this is a full diobol. I think those are different coins, to be honest with you. But I'm not an expert. I've just looked into it. So we can kind of move on to the next coin, which is a coin of Alexander the Great. And I'll tell you a little bit about that. So this coin was minted actually during the rule of King Lysimachus. And Lysimachus was like one of Alexander the Great's generals. And so after Alexander the Great, or Alexander the Third, died, he had, I don't know if he decided this, but his lands were split up between his generals. And Lysimachus got Asia Minor, he got Macedonia, and Thrace, I believe, is what Lysimachus wound up with. And this coin is considered a drachm, or a drachma. So this is a standard kind of unit. There's a tetradrachm, which is another popular Alexander coin that looks just like this, very similar to this. That means 4 drachm. So think of this almost like a quarter in today's money terms, but probably a lot more valuable than what a quarter is. This is a depiction of Heracles, also known as Hercules. He's looking to the right, and he's wearing the lion skin headdress of the Nemean lion. A lot of people decided or assume that this is actually the first coin that featured a true ruler's face on it. It was frowned upon to put the face of a mortal or someone on a coin. But this is supposed to be Hercules, but a lot of people think that they actually used Alexander's face for this coin. On the back, I really like the back too. The back is Zeus. And so I thought this coin was very cool because not only do you have Hercules on one side, but you have Zeus on the other side. And you have all these little mint marks. You see underneath the chair, there's like a circle with a vertical line through it. That's a representation of it being minted at the Colophon mint. And that is kind of in Lower Asia Minor. There's a little cat on there, or a lion on there to the left. It's supposed to be a lion, but it looks like a house cat to me. In every one of these, Zeus is typically holding a bird like this. Now, I think this is a posthumous minting. I don't know if you know what that means, but I think this was definitely minted after, it definitely was minted after Alexander the Great's death, because it says Basileos at the bottom, which means king, and on the right side, kind of vertical or horizontal like letters, just going up and down on the right side. That's Lysimachus. So that tells you the king, the ruler name. And yeah, this coin is just in very good condition, very high detailed coin, lots of lifelike character, and it just has a lot of very fine details. You can still see the flow lines from where it was struck. See these kind of darkened, blackened lines moving outward to the left, all around in a circle. That's because the metal was heated before it was struck, and it kind of like almost flowed outward from the pressure. And so that's a good indicator of legitimacy as well when you see coins with flow lines. Like if you look at the beads and the fish to the right, you can see there's some little small lines connecting them. That's just a situation that happens during the production of these coins. They're struck between 2 dies pretty much by hand, so it's hard to find ones that are centered. This has very good centering on it, and a high relief, and very little wear on it from circulation. And so this is kind of an expensive drachma. You could have probably got a tetradrachma for the price I paid for this drachma, but I really liked the details on it. As you know, Alexander the Great is just like a very popular figure in history, probably one of the most popular figures in history. just for winning so many battles and kind of conquering so much land. Yeah, so this was graded at EF. It's extremely fine. If this video lets me, I can kind of put a picture at the end that tells you all the kind of grading scale, the difference between extremely fine, very fine, all that other jazz, if you're interested. I'd like to put a couple things at the end of this video if you guys are able to stick around for it. So yeah, this is probably from, well, this is definitely from 301 BC to 297 BC. It weighs about 4.1 grams, and it is 18.5 millimeters wide. And moving on, we're gonna make a pretty big jump in time to this coin. This is also considered a drachma or drachm, and this is from Parthia, which is very far east across a lot of land. You can probably Google where Parthia is, but it's over by the Arabia lands. And this coin struck me like a lot, because I really liked this coin because you could see these flow lines that I was talking about earlier towards the top right. Now, this coin isn't struck perfectly centered. It's definitely off-center to the left. But these flow lines just make it look like there's a sun in the background. And there's just rays radiating off of the sun. And these are stags on his crown, on his head. But they just look like flames to me. So it looks like he has a flaming crown with the sun in the background. And I just thought that was just very artistic and cool. And so this is a Parthian coin. This side is a diademed and draped bust of Sinatrucus looking to the left, wearing a tiara decorated with horn and stags. On the back side is an archer, a seated archer facing to the right. I guess his name is Arsicus the First. This is from 93 to 69 BC. All these coins are BC. It weighs 4.2 grams, and it's about 18 millimeters across. It's considered a very nice Parthian drachma. It's in extremely fine condition, conserving full details on both sides. Has a bold relief, and it is a pretty thick coin. I can't close this capsule all the way, to be honest with you. So yeah, the Parthians were pretty cool. They put up a lot of resistance to the Romans, from what I understand, and they were famous for their like horse archers and the skirmishing style of riding their horses around the Romans and kind of just shooting them to death and running away. And so the Romans suffered a lot of defeats by the Parthians, but I think in the end, I think they got conquered. But this is engraved and designed probably by a Greek die engraver. Because if you look at other Parthian coins from other time frames, they're very rudimentary. They're kind of similar to the back of this. In my opinion, it's more of like a rudimentary stylized line drawing. And this is very, very detailed, in my opinion, in comparison to a lot of the other ones. There's only about 3 or 4 Parthian coins I know of that are this detailed, and this is my favorite one. So we'll move on to the last coin. I just got this today. I'll just put this up. I forgot to do this with the other one I had that was graded before, but this is a Gaul coin or Celtic coin. It's called an Adui. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it, but that's how I'm going to say it. It's mid 1st century BC, so that means it's probably around 50 BC, 60 BC, 40 BC, somewhere in there. Quinarius. The front, or this was technically the reverse, because it's not the side with the face on it. Not that you can even see the face on the other side. It's technically the reverse. This is a small little pony or horse. And I just thought it was super cute. And I really liked it. And so, like, this coin is pretty cool. From what I understand, the Romans at this time, you know, during 50 BC or whatever, the Romans were conquering Gaul and the Celtic areas, and that's why this has Roma on the back, but really it's very off center and it's indistinguishable. This is supposed to be Roma, the god Rome. She's supposed to be, that's what inspired this art in the back, but you could see it's so far off center, it's indistinguishable. I got it for this reverse, this horse, very cute horse. It reminds me, like, conceptually of the constellation Aquilus, which is Latin for little horse. And if you look at these 3 dots, 1 as the eye, 2 as the snout, that layout is almost exactly as that constellation is. Now, I can't say for sure that it's connected in any way, but I think there's another greater constellation called Pegasus or something like that, that this Aquilus, or Latin for little horse constellation, is next to or inside of. So I thought that was kind of cool. Discovered a little bit something that might connect to this coin, and I'll show that right after this. This was graded by NGC Ancients. It was graded at very fine. And then we have this, which I forgot to show you, the Halicarnassus Hecate of Kitos. And so that was graded extremely fine. You can even look these up if you actually went to their website and typed it in. It would show you images of these coins. But I doubt anyone's going to want to do that. So I just weighed this one. This is 1.95 grams. I'm going to eyeball it and say it's 15 millimeters. I didn't get a chance to like measure it, but it looks like about 15 millimeters. Normally this is supposed to be higher up, so the horse is supposed to be, the head is supposed to be near more the top of the coin. There's a little bit of a circle here, if you can see that, and there's supposed to be another circle below this horse. But I actually liked that it was off center. I think it was kind of charming that you just have this little horse, little pony horse's head. It makes it look even smaller, and so I thought that was kind of cute. So these are my coins. They're kind of varied. Gaul is to the northwest of where Rome was, basically. So they go from that range all the way up there, all the way out to Parthia, which is pretty far east. And this is not considered a Greek coin. This sometimes is considered Greek in the sense that, you know, it could have been minted by the Greeks, but it's Parthian. And yeah, sorry about all the blurriness throughout this video. It's just my camera being stupid. But I hope you enjoyed this. I'll show you a couple images here at the end. Hopefully I can add that into the video, as well as like the grading scale and like how that function works. I don't know that I'm going to be able to actually show you these coins outside of the capsules because some of them are so small I'm already having a hard time handling just the capsule with the camera, and I don't know that I'm going to do any better of a job without the capsule. So sorry for that. If you were looking forward to that, I definitely apologize. It's just going to be a little too hard probably. But this is Kevin with Imagination Hobbies. I'll sign off. Technically, I'm signing off after you see the rest of this video. So you have a great rest of your day, and get out there, get some hobbies, get some interests. Go look for buried treasure, especially if you're in Europe. I follow a lot of people on YouTube who dig, and they do metal detecting, and they find crazy cool things like this. And so hopefully they get a chance to see this video. But thank you again. I know it's a long one. I appreciate your patience. And again, have a good